When there's nowhere else to go, step inside. Find yourself in a comfortable position, whether that be sitting on a chair, kneeling, cross-legged, or on your buttocks with your legs stretched in front of you. Just find a position of comfort. Make a simple mudra with the fingers, index finger and thumbs, connect in the circle. Rest the hands into the lap so the palms are facing upwards. Close the eyes and tune in. Step inside yourself. Connect with your flow of breath, becoming aware of the activity going on during your cycle of breath. As you breathe in, you will observe that the belly button pushes forward. The stomach swells as the lungs inflate. And as you breathe out, the belly button pulls back towards the spine as the lungs deflate. Make your breaths longer and deeper so that they may calm the nervous system, soothe the parasympathetic nervous system, and bring you to a relaxed and composed state, preparing for the movements you are going to flow through. Remembering at all times that no force is necessary, there is no rush, you are not in a race or competition against anyone else or even yourself. Be kind to the self. See this stepping in as a journey of discovery and adventure. You are on the pathway to discovering your true self, your true nature. Let's release the mudra and let's make tight fists with our hands. Really clench in. Feel the strength within the clenched hands. Take a breath in and draw that breath fully into the lungs. And then as you exhale, begin to release. Allow the thumbs to unfold and the fingers to unfold. And then stretch fully into the tips of the fingers. Reach the arms out. And then shake the fingers as if you are shaking water droplets off of the tips of your fingers. Loosen in the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders. Let go of any negative energy, any negative thought that is no longer required, no longer necessary, has passed its sell-by date. Just let it go. Every time you breathe in, you will elevate and create space and have a lift. Every time you breathe out, you will surrender, release, and let go. And through the breath, you will create enlightened activity within your body, within your mind. So now let us get ourselves into the position known as Sukhanasana, which is easy posture, otherwise known to the masses as cross-legged position. Now when you reach your cross-legged position, if you find it a little uncomfortable or that you are possibly slouched with your shoulders rounded and a curvature of the spine, think about using a cushion which you can place underneath your sit bones, which will help the trunk of the body reach upwards and give you a feeling of spaciousness. You could also have a wall behind you so that your lower back and shoulders are pressing against the wall, and that will give you that great alignment, that erectness of the spinal cord. And we're going to look at the potential movement the spinal cord has. We're going to forward flex it, backward flex it, lateral flex, and twist, rotate it. Remember that these movements by way of breath do entail concentration, and when you concentrate there's a tendency to draw tension into the face and the jawline, and you might clench the teeth. So be aware of this and avoid it if you can by unclenching the teeth, thinking about softening the skin on the face. Let's begin with a gentle twist of the spine. We're going to take our left hand behind us, placing it quite close to the base of the spine. The coccyx is the very base of the spine, then the sacrum, and then the dorsal lumbar region of the spine. So we're going to get our hand, our left hand, to press into the mat, rise up through the left arm, some energy lifting up, which helps create a prop for the spine to rise to. Be aware that you're not doing this. You don't want to be leaning back onto the hand. Rather, keep your shoulders and head centered over your hips and your two sit bones. Bring your right hand outside of your left knee or upper thigh. Take a breath in and think of lifting the hips away from the femur bones. The femur bones, your thigh bones. You want to lift your hips upwards, create some space. You also want to think of lifting internally, pubis to navel, lift the tummy, and then begin to rotate to the left. So you'll start the turn of the spine from deep down at the base, then continuing to follow the breath, because the breath is your guide, and every time you take an inhalation you'll have this natural want to lift upwards, and then as you exhale that will help move into the space you've made. Think about the right side of the body, the flesh, assisting with the rotating spine, so the flesh moves too. You'll take your head and neck last. Unclench the teeth. Try and keep the chin in line with the shoulder. So rather than dropping it down or trying to lift it up, keep it level. No force. In the fullness of the twist, check in with the belly button. Notice its activity, synchronized with your breath. And then keep the lift that you have created as you return back to your central position. Let's uncross the legs now and recross with the opposite leg in first. So usually you'll move into a position and you'll always take your strong side first. You'll tend to want to fold in your strongest leg first. So we're just shaking things up a bit and keeping both sides of the brain equally practiced. Let's take the right hand and place it behind the spine. Not leaning back, propping ourselves up into a nice erect torso and spinal cord. We'll take our left hand outside of our right thigh, breathe in, lift the tummy. It's a simple message from the mind to the organ. Lift, create space, and then begin to rotate to the right, from the bottom of the spine, through the middle, using the flesh on the trunk of the body. Think about the flesh on the left side, moving round towards the belly button. Continuing to twist to the right, rotating the upper spine and turning the head and neck to look over the right shoulder. Breathe. Retain that relaxed and composed state, whilst also injecting some dynamics into your posture. And returning central while still retaining that lift and elevation. Rotation of the spine. 33 bones of the spine. Let's flex them forward now. So we'll uncross the feet and we'll draw the soles of the feet together. Let's link the fingers and again think, are you connecting your strongest finger on top? Can you possibly change that? Those linked fingers draw around the toes. Now, if you cannot reach the toes with your hands, then try putting a belt or strap and then holding onto the strap. And you'll be able to use that as a bridge towards making the connection with your toes, all in good time. This is Baddha Konasana, bound cobbler. Relaxing your groins. You have two sets of groins. The front set at the uppermost crease of the legs with the pelvic region, and the back set at the uppermost crease of the legs connecting with the buttocks. So soften and relax in these areas. You could, if you want to as well, to help you get this forward flexion at a more prominent position to start with. Take a hand, left buttock, pull the flesh of the buttock out behind you. Do the same with the right buttock, and it just sits you further forward onto your ischium, the base of the pubic bone. And in this position, we're already getting ourselves lifted. Think of lifting the stomach internally. Think of lifting the skin at the lower back. Enlightened activity. Simple message from the mind to the body. Asking it, telling it, guiding it into the position. Get to wherever is comfortable for you, and it's fine if your hands are resting on your shins. If they are here, then you will be working towards lifting, creating space and hinging forward, millimetre by millimetre. Very tiny steps, progressive steps. So when you get to that position of comfort, relax across the upper back, release the neck. So take all creases out of the neck. So rather than holding the head up, let it move forwards to the point where it feels, where you can sense it is a natural extension of your spine. Observe the breath. Continue to lengthen and deepen the breath, soothing the nervous system, calming the parasympathetic nervous system. And when the mind is calm and composed, the body can relax and open itself to new potential, flexibility and suppleness. Unclench your teeth. And then let's draw ourselves to restack the bones of the spine, pull the stomach in, support the spine, get your shoulders over your hips, head over the shoulders. Bring the hands to the outside of the knees and draw the knees together. Bring your forearms around your shins and give yourself a hug. Let's do a lateral flexion of the spine now. Let's just extend the feet hip width apart. And then take a breath in and draw the heel of the right foot in towards the perineum, and then the heel of the left foot in front of the heel of the right foot. Now if you find that your knees are up in the air, unsupported, bring in your cushions and support them. Once the body feels supported, it will let go. If it's hanging around in mid-air, it's going to tense, all the muscles are going to contract, which leads to rigidness rather than suppleness. So let's bring our left hand out beside our left knee. Breathe in, stretch the right arm up, exhale, extend that right arm over the right ear. Now be aware that your ego does not step in and ask that your hand go all the way down at the detriment of you rolling forward. If at any point you are able to see your arm in front of you, you've gone too far and you've rounded forward. So you need to draw back and get the inside of the upper arm aligned over the ear, so that your right shoulder is in alignment with your left and both shoulders are still atop the hips. Alignment. And then using the breath as your guide, creating the space when you breathe in, you'll be able to exhale and extend the left fingers away from you. Unclench the teeth. Stay tuned into the breath. Calm and composed. Connected inside with the self. On your journey of discovering the true potential of you as a human being, especially through movement, through reach. Pull the stomach in as you return to an upright seated position. Nice deep inhalation into the nose. And sigh the breath out. Surrender. To the other side. Let's bring our right hand outside of our right knee. Breathe in, stretch the left arm up, and even from this lowest base of the posture, you want to be thinking of creating space. You're lifting from the left hip up to the waist, from the hip and the waist up past the ribs to the armpit, armpit to elbow, elbow to wrist, wrist to fingertips. It's a full-on flow of upward energy. Keeping the left shoulder above the right and both shoulders aligned with the hips. At no point should you be able to see your left arm. Connect with the breath. Every breath in, you create space, and then you breathe out and soften and surrender. Only to a point that's comfortable. If any parts of the body are shaking, that is the nervous system telling you that you have gone too far, too soon. So you should draw back. The ego will try to keep butting in to ask you to go further than you're ready or able to. So it's really about listening to the self, the honest self, and kick the ego out of the equation. Breathe in, pull the tummy in, rising upwards to your central position. Release the feet out in front of you and then draw them in with the opposite heel first. So now we go left heel into the perineum and right heel in front of the left. Let's take the simple mudra once again, the mudra of receptivity, and just rest the hands outside of the knees. Close the eyes, rise up through your central meridian, that energy channel that's running directly from the base of your spine up to the crown of your head. Lift up, close the eyes, looking in, becoming aware of how you feel. Scanning the body for any pockets of tension that you may be harbouring, and when you breathe out, allow those pockets of tension to dissipate. They are surplus to requirement, they are no longer necessary or needed. Let them go. And then gently release. And now we're going to do a backward flexion of the spine. We're going to do Ustrasana, which is the camel posture. There are a couple of different levels of moving into this position. You might even like to watch first and then join in by replaying the video, or joining in but always having the awareness that you are working alongside your honest self, not your ego. So, Ustrasana. Let's take ourselves into an upright kneeling position. Whichever way you progress to that position, that is your choice. So, from this upright kneeling position, we are already focusing on making space. We are lifting from the knees up through the thighs. We are lifting the hips up to the waist. We are lifting internally around the pelvic girdle and the waist girdle. The skin on the sides of our body, the front, the back, everything is rising upwards. Take a breath in through the nose. Exhale and draw the shoulders back. Bringing the scapular bones towards each other. The scapular bones are your shoulder bones at the back. So by taking the shoulders back, you draw the scapulars together, and this opens out across the front of the chest. Place your hands onto your hips. If your hands are up here, that's in your waist. Bring them down to the hips and have your thumbs pressing onto your innominate bone. The innominate bone is this part of the pelvic arena, so you'll be able to press, and you're going to be using gentle pressure to push them forward. Okay? So, head and shoulders directly positioned over the hips, making space. Nice deep breath in. As you exhale, push the thighs and the hips forward, rise up through the spine, and begin to take the chin and the eyes to the ceiling. Very slightly to begin with. Again, you're working with your honest self, not the ego. Allow the elbows to drop back. And then breathe in, pull the belly button towards the spine as you become aligned and upright once more. If at any point that you are making the backward flexion, you feel pinching in the base of your spine, that indicates that you have collapsed into the base of the spine whilst bending backwards. You want to have a continuous feeling, sensation of upward lift. So rather than just dropping back and collapsing, you're actually thinking of reaching up. The heart rises up to the ceiling, the base of the spine lifts up to the mid-spine lifts up to the upper neck and the cervical spine and to the crown of the head. So there's this continuous elevation happening within the spinal cord whilst it's bending back. Okay? So if there's any pinching in the base of your spine, bring yourself once again to the base, the foundation of the position, and get that lift and take it increment by increment. Let's try again. Now this time, turn the toes under. Breathe in, lift and create space at the base of the spine. Exhale, gentle pressure with the thumbs on the innominate bone to push the hips and the thighs forward. It's at this point you want to breathe in and rise up through the spine again. Shoulders back, dome the chest upward, chin in the eyes raising, dropping the head back, dropping the elbows back. Unclench the teeth, unfurrow the brow. Breathe in, pull the tummy in as you return to an upright position. So those are the two base stages to practice. Please repeat those now if that is what your honest self is asking you to do. If you do feel that you have got more backward flexion in your spine, then we shall progress. Let's drop the arms by our sides. We're going to breathe in, raise the right arm up, reach up into the fingertips, and then bring that right hand down to meet with the right heel. Now you may find that you've leant over to the right now, so take a breath in and dome the chest, open out the heart once again to the ceiling, and then breathe in, raise the left arm up, stretch from the hip all the way up the left hand side and circle the left arm to come round to meet with the heel of the left foot. Now extend the thighs forward, breathe in, lift the stomach internally, lift the bones in the base of the spine, dropping the head and neck back. And then let's place the left hand on the left hip, right hand on the right hip, pulling the tummy in to secure and support the spine as you come back to an upright kneeling position. Turn those toes under, lower the buttocks to the heels of the feet, Try not to round the spine forward too much. We don't want to lose any of that backward flexion because we've got one more practice round to go. Just bring your palms of your hands onto your thighs, pose of contemplation, and be aware of how you feel internally and externally. And then let's breathe in, bring ourselves back into the upright kneeling position. If the connection of your hands with your heels was enough of a practice for you, stay at that level. If you feel that you do have further flexion in your spine, then have the fronts of the feet flat onto the floor. Remember, you're already breathing in, drawing, lifting space up through the thighs, creating space in the pelvic region, lifting the stomach internally, lifting these bones at the base of the spine, between coccyx, sacrum, dorsal, lumbar. They're all making that elevation. Every part of the body can have enlightened activity and engagement into the movement. If any parts are trying to hide away and be sluggish, then activate them, engage them. Let's release the hands by our side, nice, composed and relaxed state, and yet injecting dynamic energy into your flow of movement. Let's breathe in, raise the right arm up, reach up, rotate round and bring it to connect with the right heel, and then dome the chest up so that you're centralizing the torso and the trunk of the body rather than leaning to the right. Breathe in, raise the left arm, stretch up, reach up, circle the arm, bring it to connect with the heel of the foot. Extend the hips and the thighs forwards. Lift the stomach internally, lift the base of the spine. Every time you breathe in, you are creating space. Every time you breathe out, you are surrendering. Then you'll place your right hand on your right hip, left hand on your left hip. Breathe in, pull the belly button to support the lower spine as you return to your upright kneeling position. Release the hands, allow the knees to come wider than the hips, bring the toes together. When you next exhale, bring the buttocks to the heels of your feet. Nice deep breath in. Stretch and extend through the spine, a nice counter stretch, lowering the torso and the trunk of the body between the thighs, bringing the forehead to rest on the mat, centrally between your arms. Let go of any tension that you may be harbouring within the upper body. Breathe long and deep, ensuring rich oxygenated blood disperses throughout the body. And have observation of how you feel internally and externally. And then activate and engage the stomach as you bring the fingers, walking them back towards the knees, restacking the bones of the spine, bringing the knees together to once again return to our starting posture, a position of comfort, kneeling, cross-legged, sitting in a chair. Place the palms one on top of each other, the point of thumbs touching, chin parallel with the mat, head centered over the shoulders, head and shoulders positioned directly above the hips. And close the eyes and breathe. Now is the time to give yourself positive affirmation. Positive affirmations are a word, sentence or phrase that you repeat to yourself. And by the act of repetition, you allow that affirmation to manifest within you to then become your reality. Your affirmation today is, I trust my honest self. I trust my honest self. I trust my honest self. Repeating the affirmation over in your mind. And then opening the eyes, bringing the hands together at the heart, the centre of all truth. Remembering when there is nowhere else to go, stepping inside. Give thanks for your practice today. Be grateful for everything you have. Look at the abundance around you. Don't look at what you don't have. And be safe in the knowledge that yoga is good for you.